So please tell me that I'm not the only person in the world who watched this documentary, Jared from Subway, Catching a Monster, because I just got done watching this documentary series and I was shocked. I was literally shook. So shook that I'm here in front of you with my notes again. Oh yeah, we're doing it. For those who don't know, this documentary is all about Jared Fogle, who was this kind of early 2000s pop culture sensation because he only ate Subway sandwiches to lose like 200 something pounds, okay? And he went the equivalent of viral in the early 2000s. Subway had him everywhere, on every commercial they could get him in, with every celebrity they could get. He got a huge book deal with this whole thing. Absolutely nuts. And then Subway, for some reason, sent him on a tour of schools with small children to tell them how they could be healthier with Subway sandwiches, I guess. But that's not the shocking or horrific part of this documentary. Well, it's partially the shocking and horrific part, but there was so much in here that made my stomach turn, and it didn't just come from Jared. You could start right here with Michelle Herman-Walrond, who was a journalist, radio DJ personality who came in contact with Jared at the peak of his fame and who basically inserted herself to try and expose him. Michelle worked with the FBI for a while. She was doing all this covert recording of Jared even before her involvement with the FBI. And at first you're like, wow, she's doing right by kids. And then you start digging more into her story and you're like, wow, you're also a problematic human. Because you see, Michelle here essentially endangered her children while talking to Jared. She said she was trying to get all this evidence so she could protect other kids. And then Jared started asking her for nudes of her children. And she had lots of disgusting conversations with him about her children, which, guess what? Her daughter found a record of those conversations without knowing the context. She found a record of her mother having disgusting conversations with her about her with Jared Fogle. Horrible. I would argue that Michelle here, actually chose this case over her own children, and they actually bring her children in, like her son at least, and her son says, yeah, it was pretty horrible. Our mother was never home. I raised myself and my little sister is now horrifically mentally and emotionally damaged from the way my mother chose this case over us. And you can tell when Michelle is talking throughout this documentary, she tries to frame it as, I'm saving children, while she was ignoring the needs of her own children. But it's very clear that what she wanted was fame. She wanted fame. She wanted to be the person who exposed Jared, right? Because after the story broke, what did she do? She ran straight to the news with all her recordings. You also in this documentary get exposed to Russell Taylor. And Russell Taylor was essentially Jared's fixer and a prolific creator of child porn. He was recording his own stepdaughters in his home and basically coercing them, getting them intoxicated so that they would do acts that he could secretly record on camera and sell to at least Jared, but probably more people too. And I'll tell you what, his two stepdaughters, they're incredibly brave for coming out with their stories. I was so proud of them. It was really, really hard to watch and listen to what happened to them, but incredibly brave. This is Christian, I believe. She was the older of the two. And this is Hannah, who was the younger. And both of these young women were in this house with Russell Taylor, who was Jared's fixer, and they were essentially encouraged to party, take drugs, alcohol, get it on with their peers. He would also talk to them about their peers and say, hey, why don't you get your 15-year-old friend to come over here? She's really sexy. Yeah, the girls were being recorded the whole time. Jared was getting them. I'm sure other people were. The worst part is, though, that their mother took part in their abuse. Their mother was eventually found out to have been engaging in bestiality acts that she was allowing to be filmed for Jared and Russell to watch. And she was also a part of offering her daughters up to these predators. Which brings me back to Jared. Because, oh my God, I had no idea how deep and dark these crimes were. Jared Fogle moved with untellable comfort and ease in the world of child predation. You will hear on recordings how comfortable he is asking parents to give him access to their children, to put recorders in their bedrooms, to put recorders in the bathrooms, to have parties so he can get access to their friends. And then you see, with Angela Baldwin, who was married to Russell Taylor, that he had mothers willing to do this. He had multiple mothers willing to offer up their children, for sure. Jared was also engaging in sex tourism in Thailand, okay? He was going on trips to Thailand for sex tourism of children. Yeah. Yeah, he was taking big trips to do just this. He would travel to New York City just to do that, for sex tourism, for the abuse of children as young as 6. And what's really crazy about that to me, right, is they have him confessing on tape to doing this. And you know what the FBI did? Nothing. Nothing. They didn't care that he was going to Thailand to abuse children. Wasn't enough proof. Do you know what actually ended up being the linchpin that finally got law enforcement to act on this? It was not the dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of accounts that he had given of the children he had abused. No. He got a picture of a woman effing a horse. And the police said, oh, bestiality, we can't tolerate that. We need to shut this down. This is one of the most shocking cases and documentaries that I've ever heard of. And there is 1,000,001 miscarriages of justice in this documentary. So go and watch it. And as you're watching it, ask yourself, is there any chance Subway didn't know? Is there any chance Subway didn't suspect what was going on?